Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mr. Almine Lewis back at you once again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about how you can forgive yourself. Alright, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. There will be a button down below so you guys can subscribe. I was thinking I was in another social media channel. I was about to be like, there's going to be a link, but no. We're on YouTube here, so click the subscribe button and subscribe and hit the notification icon so that you're notified every time I upload a new video, right? And if you're watching this on Instagram, there will be a link in my bio so you guys can go check out my YouTube channel. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So how do you forgive yourself? So if you're watching this video, perhaps you're feeling a little bit guilty for something that you did in the past, and you might be on your quest right now to pursue personal development, success, and getting better at your relationships, or whatever your purpose might be with personal development, right? But somewhere deep down you feel a little bit guilty. You feel a little bit like, oh, I've done all these bad things in the past, I've hurt these amount of people, I've done all these things that were wrong, and I wish I wouldn't have done them. And because you did those things, now you feel a little bit guilty because of what you did, and now you feel like you're a little bit undeserving of wanting to pursue personal development, because personal development is going to grant you access to all these amazing things that most people will never really have access to because they just don't pursue this type of information. But you're watching this video, you are one of the lucky few who's actually taking the time to pursue such information and such data, because you're not comfortable, you're not settling for the life that you currently have, and because of that, you've decided to make the move to pursue personal development. And I think that's great, that's awesome. I mean, that's really how I started, and I can't tell you how happy I am to have pursued and have made this decision of pursuing personal development in the first place. But yes, to some degree, it was a little bit natural to me. Like, I had this in me as I was a small kid, and as I was growing up, I had this awareness inside of me. I just didn't have the right information. So once I started seeking personal development, that's when it sort of all clicked, and I was able to really expand upon it and really make it a passion of mine, because it was really in there all this time. I just needed some help, just like I'm doing right now with you guys. I'm trying to help you guys out, trying to bring some awareness to you, and perhaps I can inspire something in you so that you can pursue personal development. It doesn't have to be through my channel, even though my channel is going to be extremely helpful for that. But you can always go to other outlets and look for information elsewhere. But yeah, as I was saying, so you feel guilty, right? Believe me, I've been there too. When I started personal development, I hadn't lived the perfect life. I hadn't lived a life where I was very happy with what I had done in the past. And obviously, I'm not going to touch on any of those things right here, but I've done some pretty bad stuff, and stuff that I wish I could take back, because at the time, I just didn't know any better. And that's really what I want to talk about first, is that when you do something bad, when you do something that you later regret and you feel guilty about, it's usually because in the moment, that's really the only, decision that seems plausible. Even though later on, once you think about it and once you get informed, once you get more data, that's when you realize that, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that, and that's really what it comes down to, is that at the time of you doing that, you have a lack of information. Okay, that could be one of the reasons, but let's talk about that one first. So it could be a lack of information. You just don't know any better. You don't know what else you can do. So this is pretty much the only alternative that you have. So you just end up executing, because sometimes you're in these situations where you just don't have enough time, you don't have the necessary resources to get access to information at the spot right now when you need it. And so you end up just doing whatever that you know how to do under those situations. And who knows, perhaps you did the same bad thing over and over and over again because you never got any access to any other option. And so that's the first reason why. So these reasons are really to diminish your guilt and make you feel a little bit better about it, but it's not to completely eliminate it. But it's more like for you to understand like why you made that decision in the first place, that bad decision. So first of all, it could be a lack of information. Second, it could be comfort. you're really just comfortable making those type of scenarios there. You may be comfortable just doing bad things in the past because that's all you really knew how to do, like I've said. But in this case, you may actually have the information that you need to do the right thing, but instead you just choose to do the bad thing because you're comfortable doing the bad thing, and people already know you as you being the one who does the bad thing. So what the fuck, like, why even break that? Like, what's the whole point? Everybody already considers you a bad person, and you have a track record of doing bad things, so why not just do one more bad thing, right? So it just feels very like natural, very comforting to just do the bad thing. And that could be another reason why. So it could be either comfort, it could be a lack of data, and the third one, it could be you just get emotional in the moment, so you're unable to think logically. So you may have the data and you may want to do the right thing, but sometimes you just don't have the damn, my mind just went completely blank right now. Hold up a second. Hold it, man. So like, yeah. All right. So sometimes, yeah. So you have the information and you want to do the right thing, but the situation at hand is just too emotional. Like, it's just getting to you at a very personal level, and you just decide to do what your emotions are telling you, so you pursue that. And once your emotions take over, usually that's when you make bad decisions, because your emotions are not meant to be the ones to make decisions. Your emotions are the ones to guide you, to help you make a decision, but they shouldn't make the decision. So sure, your emotions could influence your decision as far as like, how do you feel with this experience? I mean, I'm not telling you to completely ignore your emotions and just go with logic, even though sometimes that could actually be a little bit more helpful, because the thing is that when you're making decisions, it's usually a better idea to go with logic than go with emotion. Once in a while, it is a good idea to pursue your emotion, just because, sometimes it just doesn't process well logically. So maybe in times of risks, when you have to take a big risk and logically it looks very risky and it looks like it probably will fail, in that time, you might want to consider pursuing emotion, because the chances are minimal, but if you take the chance, who knows, it could happen. So that's really a call you're gonna have to make. But going back to the topic though, sometimes you do get very emotional and you just end up just doing what your emotions tell you. These could be situations of like revenge. Maybe somebody screwed you over, maybe somebody, I don't know, did something to you, somebody stole from you, somebody spoke shit to you, somebody, whatever, you went through a breakup, a friend betrayed you or something like that, and then you just go and you do the emotional thing, which is to like go back and attack them and hurt them and do all this evil shit, and then you regret it later. And the thing is that you may know the right thing to do is to let it go, or maybe talk it out with this person, or whatever it is that can resolve that problem a little bit more better, where you don't have to do something as evil or disastrous, whatever it is that you do. Instead of doing that, you can do something a little better. But sometimes you just get too emotional, you just get too heated in the moment, and you just act on it, and then it's just history. So there you have it, really. That's really what it comes down to. So how do you forgive yourself? First of all, you just understand these things. So you want to understand your situation. So now that you know, like, what are the reasons why you would make a bad decision, I need you to go and actually start to relive, rethink all these situations where you feel like you did something bad, you did something horrible. I want you to go back and think about those and really think about, like, what was it that influenced you to take that bad decision in the first place. And then once you've done that, then I need you to come back. Well, maybe you should finish watching this video and then you go do the exercise. But just remember to just go and do that. And then second of all, just be okay with it, really. That's what it really comes down to. Once you acknowledge what happened, you look at the situation from a very logical standpoint, and you look at yourself and you're like, all right, at that time, I was younger, I didn't know any better, or I was driven by comforts, or I was dominated and controlled by my emotions. And so whatever it is, you have to commit to fixing that now. So in the first scenario, You didn't have enough information, you better go and inform yourself now. Go look out the information, look out what other alternatives there is instead of going and punching that guy in the face or something, you know? There's gotta be another alternative. If it's comfort, then you have to start breaking out of your comfort, all right? If there's something that you is your go-to, you know, like your go-to response all the time, find a new response, all right? Find a new way to respond to that type of situation that's not evil, you're right? And this will be hard, so it will take some practice, but you know, consistency and practice will make it a little bit easier. And third of all, if you're getting dominated by your emotions, then you need to practice emotional intelligence and know how to actually you know, take control of your emotions and really, you know, have them under control, especially in these situations where you need them to, you know, collaborate with you instead of, you know, throw you into a pit hole and then you end up doing something evil. And who knows, the consequences can be atrocious once you let your emotions take over, because, you know, you can potentially end up going to jail or something. So, like, you gotta be careful with your emotions and really know how to manage them and keep them under control and stuff like that. So, really commit to that. And at the same time, I want you to start to really just look at everything from a logical standpoint. Like I said, look at it, know that what you did has a logical explanation and that you can move forward, all right? These experiences do not identify who you are. What they really do is that they identify a specific stage in your life, sure, because we're constantly changing, we're constantly growing, we're constantly experiencing new things, and those new things will allow for you to step into a territory of change. And so who you were last year will not be the same person that you are this year. And that's perfectly okay. And most people don't understand this. Like, obviously you have to change. Change is part of life. I never expect somebody who I met last year to be the same as they are, to be the same this year. I never do. I always allow for that to change. I always want to let that out. You know, I let people, you know, just get that change out of their system, because some people feel like they're stuck, like they just settle on one specific year, like, okay, like who I am this year is who I'm gonna be for the next 10 years. Like, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't have to be that way. So if you did some bad experiences in the past, like I said, understand them, look at them from a logical standpoint, and learn from them. Really, just learn from them. Learn from them and move forward and use those experiences to make yourself a better person. That is exactly what I did. You know, most of those bad experiences, most of those bad things that I did, they helped me out to actually do the right thing. And now I actually do the right thing, and I feel like a much better person and a much good person, but that goodness is coming from a good and healthy place because I understand what it's like to be on the other side and do the bad thing. So I'm doing the good thing out of choice, not because I don't want to do the bad thing, because I've already done the bad thing. So that's really how you should see it. And yeah, and as far as like the guilt goes, don't get rid of the guilt. Like, the guilt has to stay there. Like, I'm sorry, man, but like, don't go out there and try to ask for forgiveness for the other person that you hurt, or the people that you hurt, or anybody else. Don't try to ask for forgiveness, because here's the thing, like, you don't want to be forgiven, really. Who you want to forgive is yourself, but you don't want to be forgiven by others, because here's the thing, like, that guilt is actually good. You want to feel that guilt. You want to know that you did something wrong. Like, you shouldn't feel like, oh, like, I can go out there and do something wrong, you know, screw over this one person, hurt this other person, and just get away with it because, you know, they decided to forgive me. No, don't do that. Like, make sure that you carry that guilt with you, and you always remember it. Remember that person you hurt, and remember to not do it again. Shit. Like, I personally do that, you know, like when you know, sometimes, you know, the thoughts of doing something bad sometimes do come up. Like I said, you know, sometimes, you know, if situations get heated, you get emotional, and then those thoughts just naturally start to come. Of course, you don't have to act on it. That's why I'm teaching you guys to learn about emotional intelligence. And I will make a video on emotional intelligence a little bit later, but yeah, just understand that you need to understand emotional intelligence in order for you to not act on those thoughts. And so, yeah, but like, those thoughts still come by once in a while. And so I always remember myself, you know, remind myself that, hey, you know what, like, I don't have to act on these things, and, you know, I've done this before and I don't want to do it again. And that guilt is always there, you know, but obviously I don't feel bad about the guilt. I understand like what happened, and that guilt is really there as a reminder for me to not do it again. All right, so that's really how you forgive yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and you hit the notification icon. And there will be some videos right here to the left and to the right, so you guys can go ahead and check out more of my content. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video.